When did your gut feeling about someone prove exactly right? My sister Desiree brought home her new boyfriend Colton for Thanksgiving, and within 5 minutes of meeting him, every alarm bell in my body was screaming. He had this perfect smile, firm handshake, brought expensive wine and flowers for Mom. Everyone loved him instantly, but something about the way he watched Desiree when she talked made my skin crawl. He's incredible, Mom whispered to me while doing dishes. Finally, someone worthy of your sister. Desiree had dated some losers before, guys who forgot her birthday or showed up drunk to family dinners. Colton seemed like the complete opposite. Successful pharmaceutical sales rep, coached youth basketball on weekends, called my parents Mr. and Mrs. Reeves even after they insisted on first names. But I noticed things, small things. When Desiree reached for a second glass of wine, Colton touched her wrist and said, "You sure, babe? Remember your headache yesterday?" She put the bottle down. When she laughed too loud at Dad's joke, Colton gave her this look and she immediately quieted down. During dinner, she started telling a story about her coworker and Colton interrupted with, "Nobody wants to hear office gossip, sweetie. Something's off about him." I told my husband Malik that night. "You always think something's off with Desiree's boyfriends," he reminded me, which was true, but this felt different. Over the next few months, Desiree started changing. She quit her book club because Colton said it was gossipy wine moms, stopped wearing makeup because Colton preferred the natural look, missed our monthly sister brunches because Colton had planned surprise dates. Every time I called, Colton was there in the background. Sometimes I'd hear him coaching her responses. The really weird moment came at Desiree's birthday dinner. She ordered salmon and Colton immediately told the waiter, "She'll have the chicken instead. She's been having stomach issues." Desiree just nodded, even though she'd been craving salmon all week according to her texts. "Why didn't you say you wanted the salmon?" I asked when Colton went to the bathroom. "It's easier this way," she said quietly. "He notices things I don't. He's really looking out for me." I started documenting everything. Screenshots of texts where Desiree canceled plans because Colton thinks I need rest. Photos showing how she'd gradually changed her entire style to match his preferences. A recording of a phone call where I could hear him in the background saying, "Tell her you're busy," when I invited her to a concert. 6 months into their relationship, Desiree announced they were moving in together. But first, Colton wanted to meet with family members individually to build stronger bonds. My meeting was at a coffee shop downtown. He showed up 15 minutes late without apologizing. "I wanted to talk about your relationship with Desiree," he said, not even ordering anything. "She feels like you judge her choices a lot. It's causing her stress." "That's interesting," I said, "because Desiree's never mentioned that to me." His perfect smile flickered. "She's too polite to say anything, but I notice these things. I think it would be healthier if you gave her some space. Maybe skip the constant texting and calling." That's when I knew exactly what he was doing. Isolation. Classic abuser tactic. Make the victim dependent on only you by slowly cutting off their support system. "I'll take that under consideration," I said, then left. I called Desiree immediately, told her everything. She got defensive, said I was jealous, that I couldn't stand seeing her happy. Colton had already gotten to her with his version of the conversation. She stopped answering my calls after that. 3 months of silence. Mom said they seemed happy. Dad said Colton was talking about marriage. I kept having nightmares about my sister disappearing completely. Then at 2 a.m. on a Tuesday, my phone rang. Desiree sobbing so hard I could barely understand her. She was at a gas station bathroom. Colton had grabbed her wrist during an argument, twisted it until she agreed to quit her job. She'd finally seen what I'd been trying to tell her. I drove 2 hours to pick her up. She had fingerprint bruises on her arm and a twisted story about how everything had escalated slowly. The controlling behavior, the isolation, the anger when she didn't comply. Classic progression that she couldn't see from inside it. We went to her apartment while Colton was at work and packed everything. Found a notebook where he'd been keeping track of her activities, who she talked to, what she ate, how much she spent. Pages and pages of surveillance disguised as care. Desiree stayed with me for a month while she found a new place. Colton sent flowers, gifts, apologies, threats, and finally legal papers claiming she'd stolen from him. We documented everything and filed a restraining order. During one of our late night talks, Desiree asked, "How did you know? Everyone else thought he was perfect." "He reminded me of my friend's ex from college," I said. "Same intensity disguised as devotion. Same way of making control look like care. But mostly, you stopped seeming like yourself around him. You became smaller, quieter, like you were afraid of taking up space." It's been a year now. Desiree's in therapy, back at book club, laughing loudly at Dad's jokes again. She says the hardest part was admitting I'd been right all along, that what felt like love had actually been a cage getting smaller every day.